Welcome to my channel. My name is Angelica and today I want to talk to you about the case of Gypsy and Didi Blanchard. This story always intrigued me a lot because of how unimaginable it is and also because of all the questions still unanswered to this day. This is the story of Gypsy Rose Blanchard. She is the daughter of Didi Blanchard and Rod Blanchard. She was a very ill and disabled girl that suffered from illnesses such as leukemia, muscular dystrophy, and epilepsy. Gypsy and Didi were very beloved by the community they lived in. The community always wanted to help them financially and wanted to support them because Didi was a single mom that had to take care of Gypsy that was very ill. So they helped them by giving them a house, a car, and Gypsy also had the opportunity to meet celebrities such as Elijah Wood from The Lord of the Rings. And when she met these celebrities, they also helped them financially by giving them checks for very high amounts of money. Didi seemingly loved her daughter more than anything else in the world. She was ready to leave everything for her, and everyone thought that she was this amazing person. Gypsy as well thought that her mom was an angel that could do no wrong. But one day, the 14th of June 2015, a Facebook status was posted on the shared account of Didi and Gypsy. It read, "The bitch is dead." Everyone thought that the account was hacked, since neither of them would talk this way, but they still called the police to make sure that everything was fine. When the police officers arrived, they found Didi in her bedroom, dead. At that point, they started worrying about Gypsy. Since she was this disabled girl, she must have been kidnapped and she must have been in a great danger. They started interrogating the neighbors, and one of them, a friend of Gypsy, told them that the girl had a secret Facebook account from which she would talk to her. They used to talk about typical teenage girl stuff, and at some point Gypsy told this girl that she met a boy named Nicholas. Of course, the neighbor didn't really believe her since Didi told everyone that the girl was mentally retarded, but she still told her to be careful. Meanwhile, the police was also tracking from where the Facebook posts were written, and they found out they came from Wisconsin, from a family with a son named Nicholas. Because the location was 8 hours away from Springfield, so where Didi and Gypsy lived, the Wisconsin police took over and went to that house where they found Gypsy, but she wasn't being held hostage. She was there with her boyfriend. Before continuing this story, I think it's important to talk about Didi's life even before Gypsy was born. Didi's mom used to give her a lot of attention, too much attention, to the point where she wouldn't even let her go out with her friends because she was too fragile. Didi grew up very spoiled. She wouldn't take no as an answer. But she also had a caring side. She studied to become a nurse, and when her stepmom fell ill and she was bedridden, she offered to take care of her. But her stepmom wasn't getting better, so her dad decided to remove his wife from Didi's care. And at that point, the stepmom started getting better, which raised a lot of suspicions. A similar situation happened with Didi's mom, but unfortunately she didn't survive. And Didi's family is convinced that she left her starved to death in her own waste. When Didi was still young, she met Rod. They started dating, and at some point Didi got pregnant. Rod's family was very traditional, so they forced them to get married. But of course, the marriage didn't work out and they got divorced. Since Gypsy was born, Didi started being very mysterious about her. She started saying that she was premature, that she was sick. She had her attached to a breathing machine while she slept since she was 3 months old, because supposedly she had sleep apnea, even though no one else except for her saw her having sleep apnea. She started giving Gypsy medications for muscular dystrophy, and she put her in a wheelchair. At the same time, she was slowly getting further and further away from Rod, who believed everything that Didi told him, but little did he know that she was lying the whole time. At that time, no one knew that Didi suffered from a mental illness called Munchausen Syndrome by proxy, meaning that she would pretend that someone, Gypsy, was extremely sick only to have advantages such as praise from the community or financial advantages. That also means that Gypsy didn't suffer from any of the illnesses she was being cured for. For 23 years, Didi made Gypsy sick only for her own advantage, and no one noticed. The community loved them and genuinely thought that Didi was a great person taking care of her sick daughter. The reality came out during Gypsy's trial. That day she came into court walking without the need of a wheelchair or crutches. She walked perfectly fine on her own. This shocked everyone. It wasn't only the community that would discover that Gypsy wasn't sick this whole time. Also Gypsy will discover that she didn't suffer from any of those illnesses. For the whole time, she thought that she was 19 even though she was 23. She knew that she could walk, but she thought she still suffered from leukemia and epilepsy. Didi did many things that, in my opinion, should be classified as torture. The first operation that she had Gypsy go through was to insert a feeding tube in her stomach, and later on she would forcefully feed her medications through this tube and sedate her every day. Didi also thought that Gypsy had to look like a child for as long as possible, but she didn't stop there. She pretended that Gypsy's birth certificate got lost during Hurricane Katrina, and when she had it redone, they got the birth year wrong, meaning that in 2015, when Gypsy was 23, she thought that she was 19. When Gypsy's dad called her for her 18th birthday, she didn't understand why he was calling. She didn't understand why he was telling her that she was 18. At that time, he didn't think too much about it. He thought that it was because of her mental retardation, since her mom told everyone that she had the mental capacity of a 7 to 5-year-old. At 21, Gypsy already lost all her teeth because of the epilepsy medicines that she didn't need. When the police entered their house, they immediately noticed that Didi was a hoarder, but there was one place of the house that caught their attention the most, and it was this one closet, filled, completely full with medicines. Didi also shaved Gypsy's hair because she supposedly had leukemia and they would fall anyways. She also made her wear these huge glasses because supposedly she didn't see very well, but in the end it was only to make her look as sick as possible, to have the pity of everyone. Now, you're probably asking yourself, how come doctors would allow all this and keep on prescribing Gypsy medications that she didn't need? Well, the thing is, Didi was a very good manipulator. She would come into the doctor's office, and right before that she would tell Gypsy not to speak at all and not to move her legs, so that the doctors would believe that Gypsy was mentally retarded and couldn't speak, and that she was actually paralyzed. Also, to make sure that the doctors believed her, she would tell them that the medical records of Gypsy got washed away during Hurricane Katrina. And in case she didn't get the medication that she was asking for, she would steal the doctor's notepad and write her own prescriptions. Now, honestly, how did she not get caught? I'm laughing because it's just crazy. Only one doctor would get suspicious, and he would write on the report, "The mother tells stories." But again, why didn't he say anything? Why didn't he tell the authorities or the hospital? Well, thing is, he was probably scared of getting fired, since Gypsy and Didi were so well known to the community and everyone loved them. If he said anything, he would be the one going against everyone else, and that would cause him a lot of troubles, especially if he was wrong. But that wasn't the only time that Didi almost got caught. Gypsy loved to go to sci-fi conventions, and in one of them she met this man around 30 years old, and for some reason she told him everything. She told him that she could walk, she told him that she thought that her mother was curing her for these diseases that she didn't have. So he told her to go home, pack her bags and run away with him. The problem is that this man had a friend in common with Didi. So one day she showed up to his house and told him that everything that Gypsy told him was a lie, and that he kidnapped this 15-year-old disabled girl. I mean, she wasn't 15, but he still got scared and let her go. When they got home, of course, Gypsy was in a lot of troubles. Didi took Gypsy's phone and laptop and hammered them. And she also told her that if she tried to do that again, she would hammer her fingers. But it didn't stop there. I didn't understand if it was the same occasion or a different occasion, but at some point Didi took a dog collar and tied Gypsy to her bed and left her there for 2 weeks. She didn't give her enough to eat and she never let her go. She also contacted a lawyer to take away Gypsy's legal personality so that if she ever tried to report her mom to the police, no one would believe her. Of course, at that point, the police had been aware of all of these things that were going on. So one day, a policeman decided to do a surprise visit to Didi's home. But as I said before, Didi had very good manipulative tactics. She was a very good manipulator. So he left thinking that everything was fine. So Gypsy was stuck in that house with her mom torturing her. But she wasn't even able to understand how bad things were since she had no real connection to the exterior world. She lived in this parallel reality created by her mom, and she just didn't understand what was going on. Until one day in 2012 when she signed up to this Christian dating website where she met this boy, Nicholas. They would start talking, and after 4 days of saying sweet things to each other, Gypsy will update her relationship status on her secret Facebook account to say that she was in a relationship. Nicholas was a very troubled young man. He already had problems with the law. Once he was arrested because he spent 9 hours in a McDonald's while watching porn and masturbating. Now, I mean seriously, 9 hours. How did no one notice him for 9 whole hours? And it doesn't even stop there. When the police arrested him, they found that he had a knife in his pocket. Unfortunately, as I said before, Gypsy wasn't able to understand that Nicholas wasn't really that normal, so she just kept up with everything that he would tell her. In fact, after some time of them talking, Nicholas started being more sexual and started opening up to her about his BDSM fantasies. He also told her that he had multiple personalities and that she had to change personality to fit every one of his. Gypsy at first wasn't really comfortable about this, but he was able to convince her. And after 1 or 2 years, I didn't really understand if it was 1 or 2 years, they decided to meet. But of course it was very difficult since Didi never left Gypsy alone, not even with her friends. They decided to meet at the cinema during a screening of Cinderella. Nicholas sat next to Didi and Gypsy, but Didi immediately felt that this boy was creepy, and she also started getting jealous of the amount of attention that Gypsy would give him. During the interval of the movie, Gypsy and Nicholas would meet in the bathroom, and she would lose her virginity to him. Because Didi was jealous and also thought that Nicholas was very creepy, she forbidden them from ever being friends, and of course even more. At that point, Nicholas and Gypsy decided to go with what they called the Plan B, meaning that they would kill Didi. So one night, Gypsy sent a text to Nicholas telling him that it had to be done that night because she couldn't stand Didi anymore. As soon as her mom went to bed, Gypsy let Nicholas in her house. He took her, he put her in the bathtub, and he closed the door. He then went to Didi's room with a hunting knife. Gypsy would later say that she heard her mom scream and call for her, and she was terrified, but she was also sedated because of course, the sedative that her mom gave her that night, so she couldn't do anything. At some point, everything stopped. Nicholas came back to the bathtub and brought Gypsy to her room. Earlier, they decided that they would have sex right after the murder because Nicholas told Gypsy that he wanted to rape her mom, but even though Gypsy wanted her mom dead, she didn't want to humiliate her and she didn't want her to suffer. So she told him that she would be okay to have sex with him, but to let her mom alone. But while they were having sex right after the murder, she didn't want to go on with the intercourse because of course she was hurt, she was scared, and at that point Nicholas started beating her, biting her, and he raped her. The next day they went and they took a bus to Wisconsin to go back to Nicholas' house. During the whole time, Gypsy didn't even think about the fact that she might get caught, since she was finally free and she was with her boyfriend and she was happy. But after a few days that they were there, she started feeling very bad for her mom, since she was abandoned there, dead, and she wanted someone to find her and give her a proper burial. So she decided to go on her Facebook account, the shared account with her mom, and she decided to write a Facebook status saying, "The bitch is dead." Those words were the words that Nicholas told her right after he killed her mom. She decided to write that also because she knew that everyone would immediately know that something was wrong. And of course, she was right. At first, during the interrogation, Gypsy pretended to be shocked to know that her mom was dead. But of course, the police officer knew that she wasn't innocent, and at that point she started blaming it all on Nicholas, saying that he killed her mom and she didn't have anything to do with it. But again, everyone knew that it wasn't true, and they had the confirmation when they found Gypsy's messages to Nicholas saying that they had to kill Didi. Gypsy and Nicholas got accused of first-grade murder, but after the information about Gypsy's torture started coming in, people didn't really know what to do anymore. Gypsy herself discovered that she wasn't sick during that trial. Before, she already knew that she could walk, she knew that not everything that her mom told her was true, but she still thought that something was wrong with her. She still thought that she had leukemia or that she had epilepsy and that she wasn't okay. But during that trial, the lawyer analyzed all the doctor's reports, and he noticed that nothing fit really, and that she actually had nothing. Finally, the jury came to the decision to give a life sentence to Nicholas and 10 years in prison to Gypsy. She will be eligible for parole in 2024. As I said, this case really shocked me, but it shocked everyone else as well, especially the community that Gypsy and Didi lived in. For the whole time, they thought that they were this sweet mother and daughter, that life had been so hard on them, and that they had to go through it all alone because Rod, so Gypsy's dad, abandoned them. But in reality now they discovered that Gypsy is fine, that Didi was mentally ill, and that Rod didn't actually abandon them, but he was pushed away by Didi. Also, what shocked them is that they helped them. This whole time they helped them, they gave them money, they gave them a house, they gave them a car, meaning that in a way they enabled this behavior, and they felt really bad. They felt really bad that no one did anything, that no one noticed, and that everything went on for 23 years. Now, as I said, there are still many questions left unanswered because people are wondering, did Gypsy actually deserve 10 years in prison, or should she have gone to a mental institution? Did Nicholas deserve life in prison, or did he as well have to go to a mental institution? Since I didn't say it earlier, but he is on the autism spectrum, but when you hear his interrogation, you know that something isn't okay with him, that he wasn't on. It's almost as if he really didn't know what was wrong and what was right. Also, people are wondering if Gypsy actually deserved to be punished at all, because they wonder, like, she was being abused, she was being tortured. Did she have any other way to stop this abuse? And my opinion is that she didn't. I think she should be in a mental institution. She should get help for what she went through, to then be able to go back to society without trauma, or at least with little trauma. I think that she didn't have much of a choice, since every time that she even tried to get away from her mom would find a way to manipulate someone to get her back. I mean, a police officer came to their house, a doctor wrote a report saying that the mother tells stories. She managed to run away once with this man, but she again let her go. So I think that there was for sure a way, there was for sure another way, but I also think that realistically this girl, this woman was being tortured, and she was being sedated every day. Her mind couldn't work the right way because of all the medications that she was taking, and also she had no knowledge of the outside world and how things actually worked. So even though if now we sit down in the comfort of our own house and we think, okay, was there another way? Yeah, we might come up with another way, but we have to remember the situation that she was in. She was in such a situation where she didn't even understand that her boyfriend, Nicholas, wasn't normal. I mean, any one of us that would meet someone like him would understand, okay, something is not right with him. So yes, I genuinely think that both of them should be in a mental institution, and this is an opinion given by Christina Randall. I hope I'm pronouncing her name the correct way, but I will be leaving her channel in the description. But yeah, I think that for today this is it. Let me know what you think about this case down below, and I want to thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. This is my first video, so I'm still a little nervous to be in front of the camera, but I'll get used to it. And if you have any suggestions as to what I should talk about, please comment down below. And please also like this video, it would help me out a lot, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!